Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and this is the Nitecore EDC27. It's about time I got a hold of one of these. It is a unique form that's kind of following sort of the Streamlight Wedge or the OLED arc feld in terms of a kind of a slender design. This one's got an oversized pocket clip, really is designed for front pocket carry. Excellent execution. You can see how it compares to a standard kind of the round designed flashlights we've known forever. So what this is going after, a couple of things. One is a higher level of product features compared to some of the other options, but still a slim profile, and the new battery technology is really allowing that, versus the standard round like an 18650 and something like this. Instead, you can design the platform you want and then custom make the batteries, or use off-the-shelf batteries within that size range that fit into the profile that you want. So that's fairly thin, wide, slides down. I love the pocket clip. Look at how it compares to the Streamlight pocket clip. I mean, it's just massive. It does have the lanyard capture hole there. It isn't as deep a carry. If you see on the Streamlight, goes all the way up, almost to the very top. Here, this one drops down, so you've got almost a full inch sticking out of your pocket, which is probably good given that you've got this activation button at the top we'll get to. Compare it to the OLED, it's very similar. The OLED also has that, because of the charging port on the back, actually does have a drop down before you engage the pocket clip. Not quite as much, but you can see it there. Use that OLED Pro in the back, or OLED Plus. So let's talk about it. What do we have? A set of features that has to do mostly with light output. The Streamlight, for reference, has basically two settings. It's got a 300 on a initial activation, and then if you hold this in across the top, you can get a full 1000 for a little bit, but you have to hold it. It's got an automatic release. What that means is you can't leave the light alone in its 1000 lumen position. It does use that roll across the top. It's easy to activate if it's aligned right. ArcFeld has taken that roll and put it on the top of the or the back of the light, and it also has a flip switch between, in this case, a green laser and the light. Uses both of these use a single LED. Why that's important? We're getting into double LEDs here. On this one, it uses a traditional flashlight interface. It is OLEDs as well as others, but basically you can activate the light by pushing it on, hold it down to cycle through things. From an off position, you can access the lowest lumen, and then a double click to give you the highest lumen, and a triple click to go into some other features, strobe, etc. This one, however, uses a dual switch system here. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over the interface because you really have to have one or play with one to kind of figure out how that works with you. The closest analogy I can come up with is this is like the climate controls in a vehicle. You jump in a car and it's like, how do you adjust the temperature? How do you adjust the fan settings? Where's the defrost? It's all the same across all vehicles, except the operation is a little bit different. The icons on the buttons are a little different. Whether you push this one, whether it's dual or single mode, is that the up and down for the fan or the up and down for the temperature or whatever. Anyway, it takes just a few rounds, and then you've got it, and you can operate it just fine. But it is different. So first of all, we've got two buttons. You have got essentially the on and off and the mode. The on and off also has two levels. It's got an initial level, just a little partial click. It's like the early digital cameras. If you use those, it had a double click mechanism on the shutter release, and then you've got a full click. So it does different things. It has an OLED screen, so if I click this partially once, what it's going to do is show me the battery level If I push it all the way down, it kicks on the low level here, or whatever. It has a memory. I've got it on the lowest level. So there are two lock modes on this thing. First of all, if I click it on right here, and then I click and hold, what you're going to see is the first lock mode. It's locked at this moment. And what that does is it allows me no access to the conventional settings, low, medium, high, but it does allow me access to both strobe and turbo mode, depending on how far I push this down. Push it all the way, I get strobe. Light push, I get turbo, which is the full 3000. So I can get a hold of that thing. And it gives me, if I look at that, you can see it's dropping off pretty quick. It doesn't last very long at 3000, but you've got the full 3000. Then, if I partial click and hold, I can release that and go into the regular settings, as you see here. There is the 15 lumen. I can maybe get my hand so you can see it. There is 65 lumen. It gives me the time, 12 hours. 200 lumens, 3 hours and 48 minutes. And 1,000 lumens for 1 hour, 30 minutes. And then it'll cycle back, giving me my battery. You can see I'm losing some here. So I can cycle that through using this button here. The mode button kicks on either the strobe again or the full turbo, and boy is that toasty. I can feel it on my hand. So that's what's going on there. There is a lockout too. If I hold that down, let me go into it here. Whoops, right there. There's the lockout, and there's the lockout 2. The lockout 2 is a full lockout. Nothing happens, no matter what. So I can't access anything. To get out of that, I just click and hold, and it takes me all the way out. So it does have a lockout mode. You have to remember that, because one of the problems is you're using the primary button as both the on-off button, the cycle through the usual levels, the basic levels, and then also the lockout. So it's easy, and people have complained about that. They get in a situation and they hold that in, under stress or something. They just locked out the light, and now they're trying to figure out how do I unlock it, and they might put it in a further lock mode. So it is one of those things that you really need to kind of use, but it is a very bright, very hot light, so your benefit is, if you understand how to lock it and unlock it, it can be an advantage. So anyway, there it is. It's anodized aluminum, USB-C charging. It's got an IP54 rating. So it's, you can get it a little wet without any trouble. Impact rating of about, I don't know what it is, about 1 meter. You could drop it. Now, it does have the double LEDs. Now, a lot of things like this Emaliant, they have 3. If you look over here, the Wuben, they're working with 3. So there is some advantage here to get out of the single LED line and start looking at multiples. Now, here's something kind of interesting, though. I'm going to throw it on the scale. This thing weighs, get the glare out of there for you. If I throw that on, I have got 4.3 ounces. That's what this weighs, not a lot. The Streamlight, look at that, 3.07 ounces. So 3.07, and look at that. The Arcfeld is also 3.07 to the 100th of an ounce. These two are identical. What are the odds? But anyway, we go back to this guy here. We're dealing with 4.3. 3.07 is roughly 3.1. So we've got 0.9 plus this is almost 4.4. So you're talking about 1.2 ounces, 1.3 ounces more. So it is a little bit heavier, but it's not crazy. And then I'll put on this OLED Baton 3 Pro Max for reference. When I put that on, it's exceeding what my scale can deal with. So it's probably over like 5 or 6 ounces, I think. Let me put both those on and see what we get here. Yeah. So it's probably over 6. Anyway, there it is. Let's go outside and see what it can do. And by the way, Nitecore sent me this. It's about time because I've been wondering about it, how long I'd have to do reviews on these kinds of lights before it caught their attention. It worked. Anyway, overall, I love the thing. I've carried it now. I've had it for about 2 weeks, used it a bunch, and it's pretty dynamic. I do like the screen. I like having a little bit more information. Streamlight's got a tiny little light somewhere in this thing, a little green light. I think it's, yeah, I saw it blink. See if I can show you there. There it is. Really hard to see. OLED's a lot better with that beautiful little light up there. Kind of nice. I have noticed, I've tried to use this on in professional circles, and one of the things is this LED or this laser that you can turn on is either on or off. And a lot of times when I'm narrating something or highlighting something, what I'd prefer is the ability to just hold it and have it on and then let go and have it off. But this one is a click on and off, so you're firing it on and off and on and off rather than just highlighting like a traditional laser pointer. But boy, the size of this, I've traveled with this thing. It's wonderful. It does have the proprietary OLED charging, whereas this is USB-C. Anyway, let's head out and take a look at what this thing can do. So here we're out in the dark, and this will give you an idea of the flood versus the throw on this thing. I'm going to cycle through the different levels, and I've got close-up things like these trees here, and I also have a larger open space so you can see how the flood and the throw are are related to the environment. In this case, I'm at the max 3000, and you can see it's got a massive reach there. That's incredible. 1000 is great. I'm cycling through. There was the strobe for a second, but you can see for a small little pocket carry EDC light, this thing is pretty incredible. The 1000 lumens probably the most useful because the 3000 doesn't last that long, but boy, if you need to light up a space, make a presence known, you don't have a lot of time, but it'll certainly do it. And then also you can go way down to the really low levels, at 15 and 65, and this even has a lower level, so you can barely make an imprint lighting wise. So here we are looking at the display. That OLED display is actually quite nice if you want that information. So I'm just sort of cycling through. Anyway, so that is the Nitecore EDC27. It is a fabulous EDC light, very powerful, slim form factor. And with that, dock out.